what I like to refer to as Chamber of Commerce weather. So thank you for coming to the Chamber of Commerce luncheon today. And I appreciate being flexible, going ahead and getting your meal and eating and allowing us to say a blessing after we've done that. It kind of allows things to flow quicker, and I think shortens our meeting a little bit where we don't formally have to sit, everybody go to the line at the same time, and allows people for a little bit of a later arrival. So I appreciate your indulgence on that. We do that at the breakfast and now at the dinners too. And so I've asked Jeff Seymour if he would say a blessing for us here to bless our event and the meal that we just ate.
Bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to gather today as a community to celebrate the work of our public servants and the efforts they provide to make our community a better place to live. Thank you for allowing us to take time to gather out of our busy schedules, to break bread and celebrate the efforts of those individuals who work behind the scenes to make our lives better on a daily basis. Thank you for the food you've prepared for us today, and thank you for the opportunity to be here in your presence, and thank you for the great weather. In your name, pray. Amen. Amen.
Recently at the Chamber, we've had a long-standing Community Image and Affairs Committee and an Ambassadors Committee. And in an effort to kind of streamline things and maybe repurpose and maybe breathe new life into the committees, we've combined our Community Image and Awards, which has historically been the host of this dinner, the quarterly dinners, or quarterly lunches, and the ambassadors, who typically have worked at recruiting membership and also putting on the annual banquet. And now that group together will put on these lunches, they'll put on the banquet. We've started a new membership committee that is going to take over a lot of the responsibilities with membership that the ambassadors have previously done. So it kind of gives this group an opportunity to look at things differently, and maybe we'll do some things differently in the future going forward now that the ambassadors and the individuals that were on the Community Image and Affairs Committee meet together. Maybe we'll make some changes in the way we do things. But this lunch is pretty much like it always has been, and we've called on one of our longtime serving members of Community Image and Affairs to come up and do the presentation of our Quarterly Image Award. And Fred, let's give Fred a round of applause as he comes forward. I don't know how many years he has served on this committee, but it's been long-standing, and he deserves our thanks for all the things that he's worked on in the community for the Chamber, as well as just his long service on this committee. So, thanks, Fred.
Thank you. Yes, I have been here a long time. Those of you who are veterans of this Image Award Luncheon know that when I have the privilege to introduce our award winner, I always begin with a little bit of humor. Well, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to tell you a short, true story. I'm a volunteer out at the Visitors Information Center, or about 40 others, and we man the desk out there about 50 hours a week, 362 days a year. I know see some other volunteers here at the luncheon today, and every one of those volunteers has stories to tell. And so I am going to tell you a story that happened on my watch. It was a cold, dreary Saturday morning. I was working alone, and about 10 o'clock a young man came through the door, and I could tell he was nervous and a little bit in a hurry. And he told me, he says, "I've driven down from Nebraska. My sister is having a baby today at your hospital. Ransom, I think." I said, "Yes, that's correct." And I could immediately tell that he had no idea where the hospital was or how to get there. And so I took the street map that we have there at the center and a highlighter, and I said, "Follow me, and I'm going to direct you right to the hospital." And so I drew the lines and got him from the visitor center to the hospital. I told him I described the hospital. That was before the big new sign was there, so I described the hospital, Told him to go in on 14th Street on the south side and park in that parking lot because that was the main entrance. It was Saturday morning and there was no one working at the registration desk. And so I showed him how to get to the elevator because that elevator to a first-time visitor is very hidden. I told him to go up to the second floor and turn left and go to the nurse's station and they would take care of him from there. And as he was walking back to his car, map in hand, I said to myself, this is why we are here. Here we go. Our nominee and award person today actually received 2 nominations, a long one and a short one. I'll read the short one first. She has changed the way business is done in her office, and you are always greeted with a smile and an offer of help. I tried to come up with a way to conceal the name until the very end of the nomination, but to keep the integrity of the nomination, I just couldn't do that. So in about 2 seconds, you're going to know who it is. We are pleased and honored to nominate Franklin County Clerk Janet Paddock for the Quarterly Image Award. Since becoming County Clerk, Janice has demonstrated the utmost in customer service. It has been to our observation that Janice understands and respects the citizens of Franklin County to the highest degree. This is shown by her positive interaction with them on a daily basis, by her willingness to answer questions, resolve issues, and work for the betterment of the entire Franklin County community. Janet demonstrates the kind of strong character and forthright integrity that makes one proud that she serves this community. My staff and I have had numerous conversations with Janet on a variety of issues. She always finds a way to address them and takes the initiative to let us know there might be a better way to get the task accomplished. It is also evident that Janice has developed her staff to understand how important it is to take this approach to the public. Anytime I have been in the county clerk's office, I have always found them to be most helpful. Finally, we have observed Janet always willing to answer questions and give assistance regardless of where she is in the community. She regularly attends chamber events, joint governmental meetings, and other gatherings of community importance. She is always looking for opportunities to educate the public on the responsibilities of her office. Franklin County is indeed fortunate to have a person the caliber of Janet Paddock, who approaches every day with a positive attitude, a willingness to assist, and truly understands the importance of being a public servant. So, congratulations, Janet. Congratulations, Janet. So I need to go to your office more because the only 2 I really go to there are the treasurer's office and the license bureau. And
Good news, we don't collect very much money in my office.
Would you like to say anything?
I don't think I need the microphone. I just like to say, the customer service is all my staff. I brought them with me today. Debbie Honor is my deputy in the office. Betsy Hedges and Julie Heck. As you guys know, I attend a lot of meetings, so they're my front line and they take care of people, and that's something I really wanted to work hard on when I came in, was making the office more inviting and letting people know they can come in and ask us questions and we'll be happy to help them out. And my staff does an excellent job of helping me fill that duty. So I thank you so much for this award. It's a great honor.
I don't know about ever in history, but certainly in my tenure, this is the first time we've had 2 separate unsolicited nominations come in for the same person. So there's that too, to add to the honor. And I really appreciate all the work you're doing, Janet. And I will say that we've kind of put out a plea to increase the pool of nominees for this award, and we did receive several in, and encourage you to continue to consider people in the community that we might honor with the Quarterly Image Award. People that are kind of on that front line, that are greeting people, that make them feel welcome at home or welcome to be or come to our community. So continue to think about others to nominate. We have a couple speakers today that both from the city. Dennis Sarb is the Utilities Director with the City of Ottawa. Of course, he has been long-standing with the city and has recently had his duties changed or rearranged, and is probably well known to a lot of you, but will be speaking to you today as the Utilities Director. And Mike Hafley is new to our community and is now the Public Works Director with the City of Ottawa. They've taken over for Jim Bradley and Andy Haney, who recently retired. And so I'll let them describe to you their responsibilities, how they've remained the same and how they've changed, and thank them and welcome them as they come forward to speak to us here this afternoon.
I thought, since I'm new to the community, that I'd start out, give a little bit of history about myself and where I came from and how I ended up here. So I was born in Atchison. I grew up in Hiawatha. Pretty much after I graduated high school, I left Hiawatha, but I stayed in the northeast Kansas area. I spent the last 22 years in Beloit, Kansas. I started my public works career out there as a wastewater collections operator in 1999, and in 2006 I was promoted to the Director of Transportation. Part of my responsibilities in that position were obviously street maintenance, street construction, stormwater maintenance, stormwater construction. One of the big projects we started in 2006 was a project we called the Mill Street Project. It was about 17 blocks long, I believe. We started out in the downtown area and removed the brick pavement one block at a time each year until we got out of the business district, and then we kind of stretched it out and went 2 blocks. Some years we went 3, but we removed all the bricks, replaced everything with all new concrete curbs and gutters and concrete pavement. And if you ever get a chance to drive down, go out to Beloit, I encourage you to look at that project. That was done entirely with city crews. We didn't contract anything out. It was kind of a highlight, something I like to brag about my crews back there. One of the things I was involved with as Director of Transportation is pretty similar to here, which is the planning, the goal setting, the vision of the city, where we wanted to go, and what we needed to look at for the future. So I've been involved in that planning process, and I'm really looking forward to being part of that here. One of the reasons I came to Ottawa is because when I moved to Beloit in 1993, it was not really a long-term commitment for me. I moved out there to go to Votech, and I ended up meeting my wife, and we ended up staying and raising our daughter. Our daughter's a senior in high school now, so with her vacating the house and getting started in her young life in college, my wife and I really decided it was time to seek out that new chapter. So I'm really looking forward to graduation. Don't get me wrong, I have a great kid. She is wonderful, but it's time for her to start the next chapter of her life as well. So, but one of the things that really brought me to Ottawa is the fact that the city as a whole is constantly looking at the future. What can we do to make it better? What can we do to grow? What can we do to prosper? And there's not a lot of communities that I've been around in my life that are as progressive as this city is. So that really was a draw for me to come here. The other thing is Ottawa is, everybody I've met here has been so friendly and welcoming. Even though Ottawa has the largest population for any city I've ever lived in, it does not feel like a large city. It has that small town farming community feel to me where everybody is friendly and outgoing, and it's just really comforting to come to a larger city with this kind of an atmosphere. As far as the Public Works Department and my vision going forward, I'm really looking at partnerships, not only with the community, but also with other departments in the city. One thing that Dennis and I have worked together, it was actually his idea that he proposed to me, but I jumped right on board with it. In the near future, you're going to see the uniforms change for the Public Works and the Utilities Department. They'll be wearing the safety orange or safety green shirts. We're doing it for two reasons. Number one is safety, obviously. The other reason is it's going to be real easy to know who they work for. So, but the partnerships is what makes this organization work. It's the collaboration that makes this organization work. So I'm looking to continue that. As far as partnerships within the community, you know, especially like with the parks that Wendy's working on, you know, the Play City USA, getting civic organizations involved, getting the youth group involved with we're trying to develop a teen park. We've got a group of young adults that are in high school and junior high that are working with us, trying to get the plan laid together for that. So we're giving them ownership of that. Of course, with all of this, I'm not looking to cut any services. I want to continue services. I want to see how we can make the services we do provide better and continue working through partnerships. So hopefully nobody has any questions so I can be done talking. All right, Devin?
A few people in the room at least that know who I am. I've been a member of the community for a long period of time, and probably might as well call me a lifer. I came to Ottawa when I was 17 years old, to Ottawa University. I graduated in '78 with a degree that would basically today be recreation administration. I had a strong emphasis in business at that point in time, and I never left. I'm still here for a number of reasons. I moved into business. Most of you know the Pizza Village downtown. I was part of the Pizza Village for about 30 years in various capacities. I started working part-time when I was in high school, and kind of like every other thing that I've done in my life, I moved forward from there and eventually owned the place, eventually sold the place, and then became part-time again, and, you know, kind of ran the gamut. So, and it's worked kind of the same way with my time with the city. As I moved out of the restaurant arena, I looked a little bit. And considered going to the city, considered doing some of those kinds of things, and decided, nah, it's not an answer. You know, I grew up in Lenexa, and when I grew up in Lenexa, it was probably comparable to what Ottawa is now. And that's probably hard for a lot of people to believe, but at one point in time it was there. It was there. And so as I examined those, it was clear in my mind for there again a number of reasons that Ottawa was going to be home. Through a number of circumstances, and my whole city career maybe has been that way to a large degree. I've been with the city now for almost 15 years. And I started at the power plant as an operator. I started right at the bottom of where you can start. And in a period of 15 years, I feel very blessed that from an operator through the other various positions to now be a department director. Had a lot of help with that. I was allowed to do a number of trainings. I had Jim Bradley as a mentor. Most of you know Jim, and he was a mentor to a number of people. But I was specifically blessed to have him as a part of my life in more ways than one. And then just relationships that were built that gave me, I hope, what are the skills to take the city forward as director at this point in time. My focus today is going to be a little bit, I know probably a lot of people have had some questions. You know, the first thing that we did as we moved into this process was we changed everything. You know, and I found that I'm real big on changing things. You know, breaking rules is just part of my life. And so as we move forward, we've created a management team to manage the utilities department. And Jeff Olson and David Bueller, who came out of the water plant. Jeff was an assistant to Jim. Have formed a team to do a number of things. You know, part of our focus is to be more engaged, to spend more time with boots on the ground. You know, out talking to our crews, listening to what's going on. Although we have specific responsibilities, we believe we can create an atmosphere that's going to be a little more responsive, not only to citizens, but to employees, and to deal with issues that are out there at any given point in time. It's always one of those grass is greener on the other side type of things, but as we move through this life, I think all of us find that there are more and more regulations, more and more things that we're expected to do in order to make things better, and I'm not always sure that that's exactly what we gain by that, but it makes it more paperwork, more whatever it might be. And so, you know, it's important at that point in time that we have enough people and the proper people in positions that take care of a lot of the KDHE, the EPA things, the FERC and the NERC and all those things that we hear about, and they sound so simple, but all of them take an incredible amount of time to get accomplished. And so there again, that's part of the reason that we have created this team. And then our next goal is going to be to pursue some avenues that probably we've tried to pursue in the past, but quite honestly, just probably didn't have the manpower to do so. And one of the biggest of those is both training of employees and education of not only the public, but of our kids. We have a terrible time keeping our kids in town. You know, we have a terrible time sometimes just keeping them in the area. You know, so if we can spend some time out talking to these kids and talking about the advantages of what it is to work, you know, for whether it be the county or the city or whoever that might be, and that not everybody is fit, may even want, you know, one of those sexy, high-powered corporate jobs, but to understand the benefits of just having something stable that's going to be there for the long term at that point in time. The next thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was some of the history, and I think Michael kind of stated it, that Ottawa's always been very progressive, very forward-thinking, and the hope is that we will continue to be looking at some of our infrastructure as we move down the road. We've got what I'm going to call new generation units, and and we got a new water plant, and we've got a new wastewater plant. But as we think about that, the wastewater plant, it's 10 years old. You know, the life of a typical wastewater plant, even well-maintained, is, you know, in the 15 to 20-year range. Our water plant, it's new, as a lot of people consider, but time gets away. And the water plant's 35 years old, you know, and it's time to start looking in some investment. You know, and then we can go out to the power plant and our new units at the power plant are 35 years old. You know, so things are beginning to see end of life, and we're coming to a point where it's going to be very important that the citizens, the community, has a vision of what it's going to take and what we have to do to move forward. The one that we never like to talk about is that all of those things that I just mentioned are going to cost us money. Now, there's various ways to deal with that, you know, and Scott's sitting over there and said, oh no, he's talking money. But the fact of the matter is whether you know, we're looking at sales tax, whether we're looking at property taxes, whatever that might be that creates income for the city, part of that has got to go to infrastructure, and we've got to continue to build on what we have. And that kind of leads us into a vision of where we're at. There's no doubt that what we've done in the past has been very progressive. As you get out and about, for myself, as I see other and talk to other communities, there's none, very few, I shouldn't say none, but there's very few that compare to what Ottawa is. Infrastructure-wise, community-wise, forward-thinking, whatever you want to talk about. Ottawa's right there at the top of the list at that point in time. We've got to prepare for growth. The community's been very excited about the work that's been done to create a new industrial park. And as exciting as that is, and as important as that is, I'm going to come back to that money thing again, because it's not shovel ready. It's not ready to move somebody in. The infrastructure's all got to be built, and it's got to come from someplace. These are all things that all of us need to be thinking about. We've got to be paying attention to. We need a 50-year plan. You know, I don't want to leave here taking care of the people sitting in this room. I want to take care of my 5-year-old. And we need a plan moving forward that gets that done. It's going to take some creativity, and we got some good people working on it. But we all need to be creative, be thinking about the different ways that we can make all of our needs come to fruition. Safety. And I'm going to kind of end with that, because that is key to me and a big part of what we expect to do going down the road. But employees with the City of Ottawa is a primary focus of not only the management team that I have been charged to lead, but the city as a whole. And we will continue to do that, not only from a safety standpoint, but from just a personal standpoint, so that we are able to make people feel fulfilled and want to be a part of a very good organization as we move forward. I've been told a time or two that sometimes I'm not maybe one of the most approachable people in the world. And what I would like to offer to you all is that I'm willing to talk anytime. There's never been a point in time in my life when I wasn't ready to talk about the things especially the things that I'm kind of passionate about. And what I do right now, I'm very passionate about. And looking very much forward to the next 10 or 15 years as we move down the road. John had asked me about putting up a PowerPoint, and as I went through the process, I said, nah, I don't think that's what I want to do. I can show you all a lot of pictures, and I think what I would charge anybody with, whether it be this group or anybody else in the community, is the city of Ottawa is really pretty much an open door. There's very few places, very few things that you can't come look at. Whether that be the power plant or the water plant or whatever that might be. And I would charge everybody to take an interest. Everybody expects the switch to work or expects the tap to run water out. But I find as I go along that not very many people know where it comes from and really have much clue about how all that works. So I would charge everybody to spend a little time, getting to know, why those things happen and some of the efforts that the employees of the city of Ottawa put forth to make those kinds of things happen. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, later, now, whenever, get a hold of me. We'll talk.
We're in plenty of time. Does anybody have any questions for either Mike or Dennis? Appreciate you guys doing this today and kind of filling us in on what's going on. Let's see if there do upcoming events. This Friday, March 13th, I guess we're having our second month of Friday the 13th, aren't we? We're having the Chamber Coffee at the Farm Bureau Association, and I believe it's National Ag Week. Is that correct? And so we'll be at the Farm Bureau office Friday morning. On the 20th, the Pink Suitcase is having a coffee. That's in the 300 block of Main Street. I'm sure most of you know where that is. And then on March 24th, we have a candidates forum for the City Commission candidates here in the City of Ottawa and for the 290 candidates, USD 290 candidates. And that election is April 7th, right, Janet? You vote early and vote often, right? Yeah. And she was saying you're just going to have early voting for 1 week on this election.
Starting March 30th.
March 30th.
We will be open the Saturday before the election from 9 to 1 also.
Okay. The 24th,
And then we'll be open late 2 nights, Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay.
So, till 7.
I know in my case, I really appreciate that advanced voting because, I live out in Hayes Township and it's, I have to go over to Brown Schoolhouse to vote and I walk by the courthouse every day. So it's really, for people in the country, advantageous to have that advanced voting. But on March 24th in the evening, 6:30 in the evening at the Municipal Auditorium, will be your opportunity to meet the candidates and ask questions. And so I encourage you to attend that. And then also, of course, that election is going to be big for our community because it's the school board bond issue. And we're going to be considering $67 million of improvements to the school district. So you need to be informed and prepared to engage. And that's coming up the first week of April. Does anybody else have any announcements? You've got an open house coming up, don't you, Rob?
We do. Quality Structures down in Richmond is having our annual open house Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Friday and Saturday 8 to 6 and Sunday 1 to 5.
Okay.
Invite you all to come down if you'd like and have a free drink and donut. And if you want to buy a building, that'd be great too.
How about a free building and I buy the drink and the donut?
Come on down, talk to me. See what we can work out. There's a compromise in there somewhere.
John, I have an announcement for the Wellsville Chamber of Commerce. They're sponsoring a forum for meet the candidates for school board and for the city election on the same night, March 24th.
Okay.
At, I think it's running from 5:30 to 8.
Is that at the library or where is
It's going to
it?
be at the school in the commons area.
Okay, at the school.
And it's on the website. of the
Okay.
school district.
Wellsville Chamber of Commerce for their city and their school board. Anybody else have anything?
I think that might be 6:30, you might,
6:30?
yeah, you might double check that.
Wendy?
Mayor's Fair election is March 24th, so you think that the chamber will
Yeah. Yes, the mayor's prayer breakfast, and who's the speaker? It's lunch, I'm sorry, I've said that every time breakfast rolls off my tongue because it's always been breakfast, but who's the speaker? I've heard, but I
Dr.
can't.
Block, he's a pediatrician, and he's gonna talk to us about toxic stress and things to do with kids and teens and brain development, so. Should be a good, he's talking a lot about, we're talking about the teen part, is part of where we heard him first, that's part of the teen part.
Very good. Anybody else? Well, thank you all for coming. Let's thank Janet for her being the Quarterly Image Award winner. So let's thank Janet one more time. And I really appreciate our bronze, silver, and gold sponsors. They step up in addition to their membership and pay for those sponsorships, and it helps us to do events like this. It helps us to exist as a chamber, to do the work of the community, to be the community advocate. So I know we sometimes we read over them and we don't pay attention to them, but our bronze sponsors are Walgreens, Gopher State Service Bank, Bartlett and West, and People's Bank. Let's thank our bronze sponsors. Our Silver Star prepared our lunch today, ProStar Catering, Kansas State Bank, Ottawa Family Physician, and Don Hardman Computer Services and Repair. And the gold sponsors are Hasty Awards, Walmart Logistics, and Advantage Ford. So let's thank them. Thank you.